Loud. There you go. All right. So first of all, how are you, Haifa?
Good. How are you?
Okay. So we already met before this recording, so people don't think like it's like a fake recording or anything. So, Haifa, you know that I asked you that I basically go everybody when they finish their phase one, I like to ask them for a review, and this is where I kind of show this review on YouTube on our website, and I first thing before is that this is not a paid review, so let's just confirm that.
I was actually going to say that. I was going to say I paid for this class. This
Yes.
is most definitely not a paid or skewed. I'm not being pressured to do this. This is something that I wanted to do because I started off so skeptical.
So let's talk about that skeptical thinking, because a lot of people may not know about our platform because they know pretty big platforms like CompTIA Plus or other places that are known for their stuff. So they may be good with that because it's known out there. But
Right.
jobskillshare.org is not known to the whole world out there. So it's not like something that I was expecting to be a pretty nice, like somebody comes in and they will have a nice feeling about it.
Right.
I kind of understand your side, and that's a very normal thinking for anybody to invest in any live trainings, because it's not just investment of time, right? It's investment of energy and all of that kind of stuff. So it has to do a lot more than money. So take us back about, first of all, let's do your introduction. Go back and kind of like tell us, how did you got into IT? Like what made you take this course? So give us a little background about yourself. Like who are you basically?
So 14 years ago, I did a networking diploma in my home country of Saudi Arabia. And I didn't really work in the field after that at all, actually. I worked doing other things, but not in networking or in anything that had to do with IT. I was in PR and advertisement and networking. Not networking, like human networking, not computer networking. But after that, I moved to the States and I continued some college, and then I stopped for a little while and I kind of got stuck.
Okay.
Like I wanted to start a career, but I haven't worked in so long. And the only country I worked in was Saudi Arabia, like many, many years ago.
I see.
So I didn't know, like I applied for admin jobs, like regular administrator, not system, but regular administrator jobs. And I wasn't really comfortable with that. So I thought, you know what, maybe I should try to take an IT course or get an IT certification.
Okay.
And that's when I came across your platform.
Okay.
Of course, like I said, I was extremely skeptical, and it's no disrespect to you or your teachers, but because I'm so eager to start in a field, I'm skeptical to waste time and money on something that's not going to work out. You know what I mean? Because I need to get a job, I need to start my career, So I did research on a lot. CompTIA. After I heard from you and spoke to you, I researched CompTIA. I researched a bunch of other websites that were offering similar things, or just taking like the certification, like buying the book, getting they have this online package, like you get flashcards and whatever.
Yeah, like they prepare you for certification training, basically. The videos are there. Okay, makes sense. Okay.
And then I looked back to what you were offering, and I'm gonna let you talk about that more because I'm worried to like explain it incorrectly.
Okay.
But I saw that servers were being offered, and testout.com was being offered, and live training was being offered, and it just made so much more sense to me. Okay, I'm paying a price, but this route is gonna get me somewhere. And that's why I think the term in English is I bit the bullet or something like that. My English is not my first language. But I'm so glad that I took this class. And this is only I just finished
the phase one
of live. Yeah.
In that sense, what I wanted to basically let me share the screen so when people are looking at us and at least they understand what you took and where you were basically. So I'm just going to show the screen here just to make it more. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, let me just make sure that this is okay. So for people who are watching this and they're wondering what is she talking about? She's basically, she went to our website, of course, and then after the registration and the first thing I wanted to mention over here that to a lot of people and have us right here too, that when people are registering, we highly recommend people to call us because calling clears a lot of things. And I'm sure Haifa, and if you can agree with me, Haifa called me multiple times, right? Haifa, it was not just like one time call. And yes,
yeah.
And she asked me questions that, are you covering this? Are you covering that? So it was a pretty clean conversation where we cover something and we don't cover something. Like, for example, I told Haifa that this is not a certification platform. But if you are going to go for certification, then even in this platform, we cover everything that you're going to need for CompTIA A+. For example, the labs, the practice lab, the testout.com. So the testout course that we give people is actually a CompTIA A+ course. So even they have practice exams and everything like that. So if people are thinking about certification learning, then we cover that pretty much in just our paid membership, I would say. Like if people go to a practice lab, that's also CompTIA A+ there. So Haifa asked me all these questions, and so Haifa is right here. If somebody's wondering, where is Haifa? Haifa is in this phase 2 right now, phase 1. So live training, because live training is kind of like, if people think about it, what is this about? Live training is more than just technical teaching. Live training is more of a mental breakdown of a current IT skills that are in market right now. So when Haifa talked to me, I felt like that's what she needed, even though before this options, I kind of pursue Haifa to make sure you go to our free training too, right, Haifa? I mean, I was like, hey, you should go. Yeah, you should go into it. So why did you choose this option versus free option?
The free option was great, but I didn't get the knowledge, or even maybe 5% of the knowledge that I got through 4 days of live training.
I see.
I did this, there's 2 live training options, but I did the 4-day one.
Okay, the weekend, yep.
Yeah, and then I also wanted to mention, sorry, go ahead. I'll
So that's fine. So the thing about this is that in phase 1, we went through a lot of stuff. So what I want you to do, Haifa, is because a lot of people would want to know what changed in phase 1. And just for people who are going to be watching this is our session 1. So Haifa just finished phase 1. So we're going to see Haifa a lot of times. Why? Because that's how I bring my members back into the platform, just to tell people that that's not the end, and I want to show a complete story. So anybody who's interested in a complete story, they should check back my YouTube channel with another members that are in the UK and finish their whole story. So there are people that have actually done that. So people are thinking, hey, this is phase 1. Am I going to see something more? Can you have a different example? They should go back to my YouTube, and there's actually members who have more, they're on different levels right now. So there are videos available for people to, if they're immediately thinking like that. But now what I want to ask you, Haifa, is to, before this training, how much did you know about technology? Like, I know, yeah, you went to the college and everything, but were you ready? Were you ready for a job or something like that?
Okay, just to be very clear, I did have a networking diploma from 14 years ago, which means it's obsolete. They're not using most of that technology. So, and the last time I touched a laptop was probably like to make an order 7 months ago. Like I bought a laptop 2 years ago and haven't touched it since. So I'm not very, like, I wasn't technologically savvy.
I see.
I wanted to make that very clear. So yeah, I took a course and I got a certification, but this is 14 years ago. And so I came to you with kind of like a fresh mind, like you're teaching someone who hasn't used technology before, right?
I see.
Other than a smartphone and whatnot.
Yeah.
What was your question?
Yeah. So what I wanted to basically, like, take us back from before phase 1, that let's say, for example, a person who's just like you and thinking that, hey, how much am I going to learn this? Like after 4 days. So basically, let's say you did your 4 days of training. do you really think that was worth of your time, like the phase one? Like how much did you learn? Like is there something
Oh
that
my
you can
God.
compare these two together, or you may I could have done that, you know, from a YouTube video or something like that, and I would have done that. But was this worth it to break you down into this new technology, new
Absolutely.
skills? Okay.
Absolutely. The live training was so helpful because you ask questions and you get answers immediately. You don't have to Google questions. You don't have to look around for questions. You get immediate answers from experts.
Yes.
I loved that about the live training. The other thing I loved about the live training, or the way that you taught
Mm.
me, was how you like explain the infrastructure.
Yeah.
So they take you like, for anyone watching, but like they take you up from like the highest level of,
Yeah, I think this is how we did it, right? In
right,
the beginning, we basically say that you're a part of this company, and then we like a lot of people when they're watching us and they're like thinking how does that happen, like, so we kind of like do a fake company kind of thing, right? So we're saying, okay, this is a company that you're going to be working for, even though this is not a fake company, so one of our company. So when we tell people that how we train, a lot of people miss that first things, like an infrastructure, like Active Directory was created how, because in the
yeah,
most of these trainings when you go out there straight, they talked about Windows 10 or
right,
Windows client or domain, but they don't talk about, okay, what if you were working in this company today? Who
yeah,
are going to create your computer? You as a technician, who's actually preparing your stuff? So
right,
we created that ahead, like sorry, with Haifa, and showed her how Haifa got created in this company,
right.
and that
And
was.
so,
Mhm.
sorry. So what I loved about that specifically was that I understood the bigger picture, and then we went down to where help desk, or what job I would be looking for, which is help desk, would be. And for me, that understanding of how the system was built helped me understand the more minute things much easier. You know, like a ticketing, or someone got locked out of their email or whatnot. Like it made me understand the little things
Mhm. Um,
more that way.
coming to that point right there, like for example, I remember a few day in on day one, I showed you, I'm like, Haifa, let me ask you a question. How many things can you answer from this area, where, because this is the most important area of your resume, and I showed you this. What was your response to this?
Not a single one. I couldn't even do Office 365.
Yeah. So after day four until now, what do you think about this area right now? What did you
I
learn?
can completely have a really, really good understanding of every single one of those.
Nice, nice. And that's kind of like what we're telling people, that look, the way we're going to train you is that we're going to give you, because this is the resume that you're going to be using most probably. And if you're going to be using this resume, so think about it. A person picking this resume up is going to be asking questions based on what they see. So when they see something like this, which is very targeted towards people like that are IT people and even HR people, because they're looking for key terms like Active Directory, Office 365, virtual machines, client and server technology. And then specifically after that, Haifa, if you remember, we went to talk about products, because that's kind of like where you're kind of putting some spices on top of, where people are going to call you great. That's kind of like generic wording out there. But if they see products like PDQ and Spiceworks, which are known and used by millions of people out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Specifically Spiceworks and other things like VPN technology and everything like that. We haven't gone to everything. The reason for that is that it's only phase one. Now the whole resume is covered when you finish your whole phase two as well, which is testout.com. And at
Mm-hmm.
this point, Hi-Fi don't have that access, but still she can comfortably. And the reason I'm so confident about it, because I ask her these questions on a daily basis. I'm like, Haifa, on a day one, we did this part. So how much can you tell me about Active Directory now, since you did day one, which was Active Directory, and kind of we phased on to that Active Directory session. So, um,
I actually have a
yeah,
list, if you want me to list it, of the
let's
things that
go
I
ahead and let's go. How
did
much do
before
you
day.
know? Uh,
But before I say, I forgot it. I'll come back to it.
mhm,
But okay. So other than, oh, I remembered.
mhm,
So other than learning the infrastructure, the other thing I liked about the classes was the live interaction, asking a question and
mhm.
getting a response. Um,
Kind of like a one-on-one, right? It's more
yeah,
like I remember you asked me quite a lot of questions, which are all valid questions, and I liked it because all of your questions were like, okay, so if that happens, then this happens, and then certain areas I was also telling you that the way I teach is like, I also tell people that, okay, don't lose focus. If this is not your area, then I'm going to stop you from that, right? And that's
Right.
one of the most important things that a lot of people don't get when we do live training, is that maybe they expect that we're going to teach them every single thing, which is going to take this training away from you.
It's going to
And
be overwhelming that way.
overwhelming. There you go. So we did our job where we have to like stop you in the middle too, like, okay, now that piece right there is a sysadmin piece, right? So you just have to assign it to a sysadmin rather than really getting into it right now. But you need to understand what it is. Just like imaging, right? Imaging was more of like, there was something that we showed you, WDS, Ali showed you that, and he deployed an operating system through the network and everything. But usually a help desk is not, especially entry level one. The reason for that is that you need to know a lot about servers and DHCP and all that kind of stuff. But we also told you that even though these are our fundamentals, people may ask you, what is DHCP? Just the name of it. What is DNS? And how it works, just the basics knowledge. And that's something that we covered in our fundamental videos and everything. So would you agree with that, that we did that job correctly, or you feel, how do you feel about that?
Yes, absolutely. I'm sorry, I remembered what I was trying to say, but what I liked about the live training was that we went through interview questions. So every time we would come across the point, like let's say ping, right? You told me 100% they're going to ask you about ping. 100%.
Yes.
Right. So while I was taking notes, I was putting like interview questions on the side just to make sure that I remembered those. I have a bad memory, if you guys can't tell. So would you like me to go through my list?
Let's go ahead and see what you know.
Okay. So the admin side, the desktop, and the web version of Office 365, including like deleting users, guest users, groups, shared mailbox, email tracking. And we worked on mainly Exchange and Outlook.
Got it. Because of the nature of your work. Yeah.
Right. We did virtualization. We created a server. We did VMware. Sorry, we did virtualization. We created a server on VMware.
Got it.
I learned how to create a domain controller, installing operating systems, deploying operating systems, and deploying software.
Yeah, we did that. We did the PDQ right here.
SpiceWorks and PDQ, yeah. I also learned how to install Active Directory. By the way, this is in no way, shape, or form in order. I'm just
we started with Active Directory in the beginning, but all these terms that you're saying are all like, did you know about this before day one?
I didn't know you could track an email. Like, and I use Outlook. But yeah, we did group policies. We did cloud virtualization. We did browsers like Chrome and the obsolete, i.e. Internet Explorer. No, I'm just kidding. It's not obsolete. We did remote troubleshooting. We did a lot of tickets also on the first day. So
because if you think about it, we were doing a lot of the times when we would teach you something, there was always a issue, right? We had to resolve that. And then the other thing is that I like to tell people that this is a very hands-on training. So if you feel like you're going to be stuck in a very video format kind of training where people are going to make you watch PowerPoints, I can ask Haifa how many times did I showed PowerPoint over here? Probably like 2 or 3 times when I wanted to just, maybe this time when I was actually this time right here, like when I was showing you this, that who is this training, who's involved in the training. And by the way, this is what she's saying right now. This is exactly what she have covered in the whole training. So people are watching like, okay, what are you actually covering? So this is from the day 1, 2, 3, and 4, what she have covered so far in phase 1 only. So as you can see, there's a lot of different things that she have covered in this, and also ports and stuff like that. We went through. So how do you?
Ports, we went through, like you said, SpiceWorks, PDQ, permissions, firewalls, and imaging. Like we went through a lot of things in 4 days. If I show you the amount of notes that I have, you guys wouldn't believe me. Like, it's ridiculous. Like more than half my notebook is.
She's the first person that I usually tell people don't take notes because it's recorded, and she's like, no, I'm going to take it because there's some important stuff. So everybody have a different way of learning. So I that's something really cool that when I saw her notes, I'm like, wow, that's amazing. It's like this
No,
book.
let me show you. No, this is like.
She's going to show it. All right, that's awesome.
I'm not going to show you my notes because they need to be.
No, how heavy is it? Oh,
the
wow.
amount of notes that I took in 4
Wow.
days. 4 days.
So, I mean, the dedication is right there. So the biggest thing from this is that it's not just to show off that what she can do or I can do or anything. It's just to show people that how real this training is for people to even invest their time. It's something that you need to understand. It's not about money. You're going to invest money, but after that, you can invest this time with me for about 4 or 5 hours, for all these days. And not even that, after that, you got to be involved in your self-paced training as well, because the reason we added the second phase is how important it is in your job, in your career, because IT is something that you do not rely on instructor for your life, right? Or even for a short time, you do not rely on instructors or anybody. You're known to be an IT professional when you go and do your own learning and training, and like you gotta think about how to read documents. Right. So in one of my examples, when we were doing deployments, how did I make sure that about documentation when I was like, is that even correct? Is that / correct? Are you sure? And
you ask a lot of like the classes are extremely interactive, extremely. Like if you were doing something, if I wasn't doing it like right after you, I was doing it by the end of the class just to show you that I know how to do it. Like I was given like so much hands-on, and that's how I personally learn. I'm not much of a book person, but I'm very hands-on. So it was so easy for these things to stick in my mind. Also, the command prompts, like that, all those things. It was
like if I ask you, if somebody offer you a job right now, like they say, okay, this is an internship job or maybe an entry-level job where you can come in, don't worry, it's not something that we don't require much of experience from you, but I want you to come and learn from it. Would you be comfortable to go to that environment and just the first day you find out that they are using Active Directory, they're using Office 365? Absolutely. How would you feel then?
Absolutely comfortable. I would actually request to be paid more than an intern because of the knowledge.
And you will, because with this kind of knowledge, what it is that a lot of our members have landed a job, real jobs directly, and started with the entry level because of that knowledge. And that is where I tell people that a lot of newbies are scared to, or maybe do not accept this as an answer. Why? Because a lot of people think that that's not how I've heard. That's not how my university told me. They told me you have to finish A+ and then you have to make a job. You have to land a job. But then they finish these certification. They are even not even close to what you have done, like even not even close to 10% what you have done.
Yeah.
So you can think about the comparison too right here, that if a person goes to college, unless their teachers are good, unless they're given similar type of training, then yeah, I would say, of course, that's just the same thing then. But that's not how it works in most of these education areas, because they want to make money quickly, or they are relying on a curriculum that cannot be changed immediately. So we're not stuck with this curriculum type of thing, right? We teach what's out there. That's going to be that is exactly what you're going to do at work. So we have a little benefit when it comes to that, but the disadvantage is that when I tell people that I also don't discourage you from certification, because that's why in phase 2 I added CompTIA type of learning, and phase after the career development, all of these resources that we have are all guided towards certification. So I don't discourage you from that, right?
But also what I learned is that you don't need a certification to get a help desk job. I always thought to get a job in help desk that you need the certification. No, you just need the knowledge, and you're welcome to spice your resume up with a certification. And I think this class goes full-fledged knowledge. Like there's no holding back on knowledge.
And that's one of
Well, so
the
far, I mean, I'm sure the rest is going to be the same.
yeah, and that's one of the areas that I have basically shown to a lot of people, and maybe people, if they don't know, I've actually covered this very important topic when you say that you don't need a certification, and that's not just me talking about. I always show this example: computer support specialist. I think it's called. Um, I don't know which it's a yeah, right here, bls.gov. So remember, I tell people that
Oh,
bls.gov
you're
is not by Danish, right? This is a government site. bls.gov is a government site. It's a U.S. government site. So look at this right here. What Haifa is saying. So just for people that they don't think like, okay, this is something. Is this being like paid or something like this? No, Haifa is saying the
I
same thing.
promise
Which
I
is,
paid them. They didn't pay me.
and that's the thing. She paid us, and we're not paying her for this, even for this stuff. So if you look at it right here, it says on the job training is none. Work experience related occupation is none. But again, we don't promote none right here, right? The reason for that is that even if you don't have none, then you cannot even do, you cannot go to these jobs where they're asking for experience then, because our point over here is that how do you learn all of these things, put it on your resume, and how do you compete with a person who just came out from a college, or maybe they have a 6 months experience or 1 year of experience, right?
Right.
Because maybe they might be looking for that job too. Or maybe let's forget about that. Let's say impressing that HR manager, that IT manager. How do you impress a person when you have nothing in there? So you have to also think about how many people are applying to that job with nothing like this, nothing like what you can grab their attention. So
I'm
that is
telling
what.
you, if I went in to get a job before I took this class, I would have gotten rejected. Easy.
I mean, maybe you would have gotten accepted, but that's kind of like maybe that's how
Okay.
you're thinking, right? That's your thinking right there, right? So your thinking has been what? Now more your confidence got more built
Super
up. So
confident.
maybe, yeah. So I think the best thing that we can out of from this training is that when I tell people that this is a confidence building training, because what you were thinking before is totally changed of how you're thinking now.
Yes.
So a lot of people mistake us by maybe, are we doing like some kind of certification training? We are not even doing anything close about certification, because we don't even promote that. You can definitely go and do the certification on your own, and if it helps you, it helps you. If it doesn't help you, it doesn't help you. But what we're telling people is that our training can be considered more of a kind of like a career development type of training, right?
Yes.
So as soon as when you land a job in a company, they do not invest in a platforms where they just teach about kind of like a theoretical stuff, right? And when you land a job in a company, they will either hire a trainer, or they will have a company that does the training like equivalent to ours. So because they want you to come back and immediately apply those skills on the job.
Yes.
And they know that even those type of skills that you learn in certifications cannot be immediately applied on the job. And how do you learn, by the way, on the job so quickly? Because you're already in pressured mode. You're already thinking that these are the things that I'm going to learn. So you're very quickly like, and you're focused, right? And then the big thing about the jobs are when you say that, how do I learn all this stuff on the job? Because you're extremely focused on the technology that they want you to learn, right?
Right.
So in this case, we're also doing the same thing, but we have made it a little bit broader. Like we give you more access and everything, that we say, okay, you may not be landing a job with this specific company. You could be landing a job with many different type of companies. And
Right.
throughout our training, I think Haifa knows that I was telling her that don't think about the product itself, what I'm teaching. My product is not my point right here. Think
Right.
about what I'm teaching to you that can be also, other company could be using similar product. So now you know the technology, right?
Right.
So that's kind of like the whole story about this. I mean, what do you think, Haifa? What's your thoughts on it? What do you think? You're going to land a job in 2 months, 3 months, or a month? What do you think?
I'm hoping like a month and a half, I'll be done with phase 2 and 3, and then I can start applying.
And you're
Or no, I'm
confident?
gonna start applying before though. But
Yeah, because of the way
I can comfortably land a job, and like maybe
yeah.
they won't accept me now because I won't know how to answer like some.
Yeah, like I said, and
Me.
I tell people, and I tell it here too because it's recorded. I told Haifa that get ready for rejection, right? We have not prepared you to tell you a lie or tell you sweet words like you got done with this training, so you're gonna land a job like the first try, right? And that you could get lucky, because we tell people that even without our training, you can land an IT job. Even without any certification, you can land an IT job. It's about what will happen next when you sit on that chair and that first lockout ticket or something like that comes to you.
You
And
won't be able to perform.
Yeah, and even if you are able to perform, then what's the stress amount? That's the stress that you're taking with that, right? You're gonna go and search it, learn it quickly. Now you're in a very stressful mode right there, right? You have not done this training. So what we are doing right here to clear it up for a lot of people, we are helping in three major area. One, we're helping you for you to do this training so you can land a job. Second is to make sure that when you land a job, you're not running around, you're not stressful, because stress is the main thing for me as well. Like I want to bring it down for people.
Mhm.
Third is the biggest thing. Well, okay, what happens after that? Are you in a platform that supports you for a long time and give you resources that so you can grow very quickly in your IT career and not get stuck in a very small area? Because what happens next? A lot of people don't want to get stuck in a help desk for a long time. They want to
Help
move up.
desk is from what I understand, it's a 6 month job, and then usually people move up from there.
6 months, but a lot of people, if they don't have guidance and mentorship, they take
A
way
year
more
or
than
so.
that.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
even a year. Some people have actually spent 7, 6 years in this,
Wow.
because that's how they got so comfortable in their area that, for them it's hard to pick on new things, and they get scared of leaving the job. They may get scared, like, okay, that's too much for me. So there's a lot that they develop throughout these years, and then they lock themselves down. But when
Right.
you get trained like this, you're already from day one, you're like, okay, I'm looking for,
Yeah.
this is my route, and I'm being guided, I'm being mentored.
Mhm.
So the other thing that I want to tell people, that this platform is not just when you do live training and we're done with you. It's like we give you this 1 year access to practice lab, or you come back to us and we're like, okay, since you have 1 year access, so you don't need to take another live training with me. This is free stuff that you already paid for. This is not like something you should come back and pay again. And that is the biggest difference in our platform, that we're not about making money on top of money from you in a very
Right.
smaller areas. Yes, if you want to come back and do a sysadmin training or network engineer level training, that's a different thing. That's live training where we will offer it, but only to the people who have done our training first. So
Right.
then we don't get stuck with extreme fundamentals, and that's what
Right.
we do with people. But other than that, most of the people, when they come back to us, like, okay, I want to learn something more advanced, and we're like, okay, there's a course out there that's prepared, and you already know the technique of our trainings, you will understand it, so why invest that kind of money? Go and take it because you're a member. That's how it is.
Right.
What would you advise people in, like, getting started in IT career? Like, what's your advice to them, that if they're thinking right now, there are a lot of people that are thinking to start an IT career, and as a female, I would say too, because there's a lot of, we're doing a lot of, we've been, the majority of the people are in this career so far is like male dominated, but there are a
Yeah.
lot of females that want to be in IT. What do you tell them?
Go for it.
Go for it.
I have like anxiety about these things, and I'm so glad that I specifically went for this, and I'm so glad that it made me so confident that I'm not hesitating. Oh, should I do it? Oh, shouldn't I? No,
Mhm.
I'm going for it. And it's awesome. It's a great feeling.
One thing I also want to discuss, that what is your thoughts on, because there's a lot of people that they say, okay, let me just do something like a CCNA, and that will give me that kind of level of understanding, and I will do CCNA and then I'm going to get a job, or I'm going to do CompTIA plus. There's a lot of people that's stuck in this mentality. And you said that you have also done some education before this. Why didn't you go for certification? You think, I know we talked about it a little bit more in the beginning, but why was that not your route before? Like, I wanted to pick on your mind. So why was that not your route? Um,
Mainly my anxiety. I'm not very good at books. Like if you put a book in front of me and tell me to study, I'm gonna get so frustrated at some point because I'm not doing it. Like
mhm.
here, I had the ability to use uh, the actual programs that we were talking about. So PDQ, Spiceworks, where
Yeah,
all of these things were things that I did hands-on, which
hands
made
on. Yeah.
me way more confident.
Mm.
So why I didn't do it before, probably because I was so anxious about doing it. Because, oh my God, now you have to sit and read a book and memorize things and flashcards.
Mhm.
Books are very broad learning for,
Mhm.
sure, they'll teach you specific things, but they're also going to teach you unnecessary things sometimes.
Yeah, it's kind of, yeah,
Right,
that's where people lose interest.
right, exactly. And I lose interest very quickly.
Mhm.
So that probably. And I didn't know that this service existed. like live training one-on-one. I didn't know that this existed until like literally, I think I contacted you first a month ago, and then I did my research, and then I got set, and then we immediately booked classes, and I took them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, because there are services like this, and they call it boot camps and stuff like that, but there are not many that are online. That's gonna give you everything online, because a lot of people, that's another thing with a lot of people, that hey, if I'm not there, if I'm not physically there, how can I learn all this technology? And then I tell people that if you look at this resume, how much is it about hardware right here? You've got to know about hardware, by the way. I don't want to like tell people that, oh, this is about hardware, but hardware is also covered in phase 2, where they give you simulations.
Right.
You really don't need to pick up this computer and just hold it just to see how much it weighs, right?
Absolutely.
And yes, at some point, maybe I tell people that, and when you do phase 2, later on, I'll basically recommend people to maybe go for like maybe a one good server that you can have your own labs for a long time and stuff like that. And maybe your own computers that you have and touch around and kind of like do that. But that's not important. Important is what you see, what I've shown on my screen, that resume, that ticketing system, that Office 365, that Active Directory, because a lot of people mistake about, is help desk more of like a person who's going to be sitting there and just doing ticketing, or is this going to be a person just doing like a hardware stuff? It's more than that. A help desk is a person who does follow a lot of customer service stuff. Right. And at the same time, the help desk is more of like the IT support, entry level people. They mostly follow processes, right? So we talk about, let's say, Active Directory, and we have to add a user. Do you need troubleshooting for that, or it's just a process? You do it one time, and if it's 10 more times, you got to do it again and again and again. But at the same time, you got to troubleshoot if there is an issue with that user now. Maybe they got locked out. Maybe they cannot get into something, a folder, share permissions. So you see how this training takes you from separating these two. Like, we first focus on the infrastructure first. So we got you in there. Okay, this is exactly how the company looks like. Then you get to learn the technology. Then at the same time, you get to learn the processes. And after processes, users get added, and then they started troubleshooting, and you got better at troubleshooting. And I tell people that phase 1 is not about you becoming an IT professional at all. It's just that you got a confidence now that you didn't have before, and you can go and apply for these jobs. So we can validate what the BLS Gov is saying, that none is required. But with none, you got more experience, more confidence, I would say. Right. So you can go land a job, and then slowly, since you have a very good foundation right now, you build on top of it to become a good infrastructure engineer, network engineer, system engineer. Later on, you can make that decision.
I mean, okay, sure, you could get a certificate and stay in help desk for 7 years, but why wouldn't you want to grow in your career? Why wouldn't you want to get paid more? Sure, you can be help desk for 7 years. Yeah, you can do that, but why not? Why not move forward?
I would say 98% of the people would be like, I want to grow, right? Yeah, and absolutely. there will be few percent that they feel like, I'm so comfortable that I don't want to change this, right? I don't want to change. That's also a personal decision, but that's not what we are preparing people for, because 98% versus 2%, then I won't be doing this training then. So that's kind of like, I tell people, okay, if you want to be a help desk, and still it's going to help you. These kind of things are going to help, because as a help desk, you still have to be current with your technology, right? You cannot be an XP certified and doing a Windows 10 work if you don't want to learn about Windows 10. That's not going to work, right? Yep. So even then, you will need to be in some type of training, or maybe your own personal training and everything. Right. Now, other thing I want to also mention people at the end, that remember, whatever I taught Haifa is probably I have taught more on my YouTube channel. Right? I've done that. I want to clear that even with this video, that this is not about promotional type of video for you to come in, start paying for. This is to tell you that, yes, this is definitely way more than what I do online with free videos, because that's my video. I uploaded for 3 hours or 4 hours. It doesn't matter. But at the same time, I'm not giving out servers access, or that's something that's impossible. Right? Right. So a lot of this mentality too, that, okay, if you have the free version available, then why should I go for the live version or premium version?
Yeah, I want to mention having the ability to connect to a server, build a domain controller, create an admin user, create regular users, and getting to do those things with my own hands on a server was 100%. Like,
So this is another tricky question a lot of people will ask.
not
So a lot
helpful.
of people say, hey, why don't you just go to YouTube and just build your own virtual
Not
box and everything? Why can't you do that?
I wouldn't one. If before I took this class, I wouldn't know how. Even if they explained it to me in detail, I would still.
So it is more like you, like it's like, to my answer to this to a lot of people is that yes, there are a lot of people that are like self-go kind of thing. Like, I'm going to do it myself. I'm not going to even spend like $1 or anything. Like, I want to do everything by myself. But remember, this is a very, it's like there's a community that can do that. And there's a community that wants training from other people. So I don't want to discourage both right here, right? There are people that say, I'm going to go and do it myself because I'm okay. I'm going to take that stress. I'm going to watch 10 videos to do something to learn more. And I tell people that that's one community that can do it themselves. But then there's this other community that says that, okay, I know the value of investments. This is how business works. I know how I'm going to go there. I'm going to learn more skills quickly. I'm going to use the products this other person have done so much research on. So I'm going to use that and grow quickly, right? And that is where the battle is going to be with two type of people. That yes, some people are going to come and say, no, this training is, why are you doing that? Just build your own stuff, buy your own stuff, do everything yourself and everything. Like, I agree with that. That's something I also promote. That's why I have YouTube videos for, right? And I promote my skills and I give my skills to people for no charge, nothing. And I've like I said,
Live is very different. I did the pre-course stuff. Live was so much more different than just sort of watching YouTube videos, honestly.
Yeah, because it's like some people, like I said, there's going to be different type of people. Some people may be okay with watching a 3 hours long video and video only, where you're just sitting and watching me, right? Even if it's live, and after that, even if it's recorded, it's always a kind of like a mental challenge for a lot of people. That, okay, you know what, this is just too much.
Yes,
Or then if I say that go and download a virtual box on your machine, right? That I'm saying that whatever model of your laptop, whatever you have, I don't care about that, because I'm not going to give you that support. Why? Because I cannot give that support to 40,000 people, right? So for free, right? So then that's where your stress starts to grow, that, okay, there's a lot missing right here, and I got stuck now. And to get to his point, I can't even get to that. And that is where we work a lot on. And that's where a lot of people then go towards this route too, because they want to invest in themselves. And that's where I wanted to be very clear to a lot of people that if you're in that side of it, then I'm doing that for free. Go to my YouTube channel, you have it. If you are not on that side and you want to be like high five, once again, no, teach me. I'm not taking that kind of stress. Teach me everything. And
I guarantee you'll learn more.
And then I give that option. So my idea is that I have all the options on the table for people. It's really up to the people that do they want to make that decision.
Right.
At the end, that's going to be like what I'm going to tell a lot of people, that that's it. These are your options. So one last thing, that what do you think yourself as a female in this industry? I know you're like thinking, what kind of jobs do you like, are you thinking about? Like, what kind of things that you're seeing yourself in future? Like, what do you like more?
Honestly, when we went over everything, I'm really interested in virtualization and VMware.
Oh, this right here. Okay. And we did a whole lab on this too, I believe right here. Yeah. Okay. So VMware, this is it.
Yeah. A whole,
what makes you like virtualization so much?
Just that it's so interesting to me, that just the thought of it is so interesting. But I also liked Office 365 a lot too.
So I feel like maybe in future you may be very much interested in cloud type of learning,
I was
because that's where
that too.
Yeah. And we are also, by the way, creating more cloud videos now, and hopefully in future we'll make a whole full training on the cloud available for our members, so then they can take the live trainings on the cloud as well. So that's going to be another level, but that's something that we're actually looking into it right now. The videos are already started, but the more live stuff it requires a lot of research and making sure that they get the complete picture in the cloud as well. So I like that, because I think most of the people are going to go towards that route. But having the understanding of basics right now, I feel like you're going to, when somebody asks you, okay, have you done anything on premises? So you can have that clear idea. Okay, local Active Directory, virtualization on local, like a server running this. You'll have these ideas. You have this reality right in front of you right now. And when you go to the cloud trainings, then of course when we talk about networking, or maybe what is a virtual machine or something like that, or an application like Office 365. There are different applications. I'm sure a lot of things are going to start coming back to you very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, all
So
the processes are very similar when you learn Active Directory, and like it's just
what do you
very,
think about the okay, I was training with you too, but there was extra trainers too for you. What do you
yeah,
think about the quality of training as a whole, like as a
fantastic.
trainer?
Fantastic. Every single trainer was really competent and confident in what they were teaching me in their field. Um,
So
yeah.
yeah, so if people are watching right now, I'm going to share my screen quickly just to show when people watch this video what we are talking about. Basically, this is what we are talking about. So I asked Haifa to basically say that these are the three trainers that in one course we are kind of, I'm probably leading it, and then we have Ali, we have Hadi, and they did their job in there. The whole training they kind of went through, me and Ali with Haifa. So that's what we do in this training. So Haifa, what do you think? What's the negative of this training? Give us that. I mean, this is something we want to know. If there's is
Not
there
enough
any
days.
what's that?
I feel like I want to learn more live, but honestly, I can't think of anything right now, but I promise I'm being honest.
Okay.
I honestly can't think of anything now. Maybe I'll have something to say after phase two.
Yeah, yeah. I
But
mean,
right now,
definitely, you have phase
not
two and everything. So, for people who are watching, is this going to be the first time you will be watching Haifa? No, at all. This is the first video for her,
yeah.
and we will request her to please come back because this is a community. And when you come back after 3 months or landing a job, then she will come back just to share that knowledge of how she landed a job,
And how
right?
the experience was and
And
all
how
of
the experience was and everything. And then she will be keep coming back with when she is on the job, because she may find out something as her that we don't know. And
yeah,
she may be a role model to a lot of people out there.
I hope
Um,
so.
and that's what we want, because we want tomorrow Haifa to come back to either this platform or to maybe if she wants her own platform, but whatever it is, she come back and then she lead people in the way she learned IT, right? I'm sure when she go to work, I'm sure when you go to work, you will have a different experience, and you will
Yes.
find some things that we have not teaching, and you feel like that's too important for this, right? So maybe you can lead that, and I hope that maybe one day you will open your YouTube channel and people will be following you.
Just follow you. No, you should me.
And I hope that, because the thing is this, like I said, there's a lot of people, that want, they're looking for this career, and
Yes.
specifically for females too, because they're shy to come to this career because they think that this is a male dominated career, and that's it. But now if you look at these trainings, I could say maybe back in the days, if you were talking about a lot of manual stuff and picking up hardware, then yes, that was true like 10 years ago, 10,
Yeah.
15 years ago. But if you are looking at my training right now or these job descriptions, people should know that it's mostly remote, it's mostly cloud, it's mostly applications, it's mostly you are touching here and there equipments, but even the equipments are getting shrink right now. Just to show you an example to people, this is a CPU right now. The whole CPU is this much. So I'm sure people who are kind of thinking that, hey man, is this going to be a manual, like pretty physical job? I mean, here you go. I'm not saying that people cannot pick up things. It's just
Remember,
that, yeah,
servers went from being whole rooms to nothing.
exactly. And that's where I wanted to, lastly, like, promote this uh, general idea. Like, it's not about just this platform. You don't have to be in this platform. It's just an idea for this community that should really think about this. This has a lot of opportunity now. And I tell this to every each live member, because they have seen what I can do, right? I mean, as a trainer myself, right? These are all features that were not available a few years ago, and now I'm able to bring it to you. So even that alone, this whole training itself should give you a pretty good idea of how technology can change things, and why people are going so much online now. Why people are not interested in going to some boot camp for like 2 months. Do what? Do the same thing on the chair? I
And you
mean,
have
that's
to remember, right now we're quarantined. It's April 2020, and everyone's quarantined. My advice is bite the bullet, take the course, and learn something new before this ends. Like if you want to switch careers, if you're, I don't know, in HR and you're bored of what you do, try.
Perfect.
It might be the field for you. It's a lot of customer service. It's a lot of, it's different things that you deal with, different tickets that you deal with, a lot to learn on the job daily. It's not like, I don't know, when I used to do specific things like marketing or whatever, it was just kind of the same. You know, you don't learn anything much that's new, but you're
Yeah, it's
learning.
like a repetitive process again and
Very
again.
repetitive, exactly. But with this, like you're learning about new technology. Even when you're on the job, you're learning about new technology, or you're learning about new programs that do things. You're learning new processes to do something new. So it's a very dynamic.
Mm.
Since we're all quarantined, I don't know anyone who would go personally, who would go into like a boot camp. I think they might even be canceled because schools and
Yeah, yeah,
colleges.
yeah.
So
Most of the boot camps are canceled. Yeah. If they didn't,
is
yeah.
it's a great opportunity to come out of this quarantine with something new and something useful for you and somewhere you can grow.
Well, thank you, Haifa, for giving us all this time. And again, we want to see you, and I wish you all the luck. And this is when I say that I wish you all the luck this way, I'm present like maybe I'm gonna leave Haifa, but she knows that I'm a person who is gonna be like, huh, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like after 2 weeks, she's gonna get all these emails from me and messages that you need to do all this stuff. You need to finish all this stuff because without that, then this whole video, the purpose of this video is not finished then. And that's something Haifa also knows that you know that she has to do a lot of work after this. So anyone that's considering this training, don't just go for it to schedule it without talking to me, because other than that you may be lost, or you
Right.
may not think of it, or you may be thinking something different. So don't get into that stressful moment. This training is not designed for stress. The whole training is about not to get the stress. You have to call us. You have to understand what you're paying for, even if it's $1. Always make sure that you're investing in the right places. So
Done.
yeah,
For you,
go ahead. Mhm.
there was one thing I forgot to add about the instructors or my thoughts on them. I loved how passionate everyone was about their field. It wasn't just like, oh, you're teaching me something because you know it. It was more like a passion-driven learning. Everyone is Danish is very passionate. He's very honest about his service and the options you may have. And the other two instructors were so passionate about what they taught me. You could tell from the way they spoke about things and the way they answered my questions is that
Mm.
it was their life because they enjoyed doing what they do.
Yeah,
Not because, oh, it's a job and it gets me like IT makes a
yeah.
lot of whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that's another thing is that like, when we tell people that if they go to a website right now, the timings are pretty much deceiving. I would say 12 to 2, but we never end from 12 to 2, right? We were always like 12 to 4, 4:30. So
Yeah.
that will change because I'm gonna put probably 3:30 in there. But the thing is this that when that's why I say that people should call me so I know that are you really interested in IT? Because to be honest, at the end, I'm a human being. Other trainers are human beings, and we don't even like to offer this training to someone who is just trying out.
Yeah.
Trying out is not a option in this training, right? Because it's so involved, and you have to do so much, and you have to be doing it hands-on. So other than that, I would say this training may not be a good option for you if you have that mentality. Oh, let me just try it out, right? For you, I think the best option for people would be to go and check out our premium level, which includes everything, I mean, that's something, or the free level. The free level has more than 100 plus hours of content, which can give you that kind of feeling that, okay, I'm not being pushed, or I'm not being asked to do something hands-on. So that will be your option. But if you are passionate about it, you want to be doing something, of course, at that moment we click in. We're saying, hey, this is something we got to go together to finish this, or else it's not going to happen. And I want to give out a message to a lot of people in this current situation that's happening right now too, because a lot of people get discouraged at what's going on right now may impact them. To be honest, the things that are happening right now in this April with COVID, and this video may be watched probably maybe after 2 years or something, but what's happening now is something new to every single one of us. We have not been through this kind of situation. So what I want to tell people is to be positive. There's always hope at the end. We are going through pretty bad time right now, but we we can utilize this time, right? This is not something that a lot of people cannot get food outside or something like that. I'm sure you have internet options and all that kind of stuff is still available. So let's be positive of what's available out there to us and utilize it and cash on it. You can take this training, or you can go to our live sessions for free, but cash on these type of skills. So definitely think about that. You want to say something?
Think about, like, the world went remote in days because of this, and globalization and whatnot. Imagine this happens again and the world has to go remote. Imagine what the IT world is going to grow into. So why wouldn't you?
And definitely what will happen, and that's my thinking right now, is when this whole thing is over, people are going to go back to jobs, right? And they're going to be, the help desk is going to be like this, right? Man, yes. This is too much work for us, guys. We were only two people. We were used to we had equipment out there. We had a way to do things at work, but I didn't have this. I was not prepared like this. So number one, either give me a training now, because I need that level of training. And second, they're going to start hiring more people immediately. Trust me, this thing is already happening, because I know, the reason I know is because I can talk to higher ups, right? And it's happening. But of course, they're not going to be like, oh, it started to happen and we're going to start hiring. That's even a more stress for HR people now. To think about that. HR person also went remote, and they were used to hiring people in their way, but now they're getting pushed to hire more people. They're not going to add more to them. So be positive, because when this thing is over, that's where these kind of jobs, the help desk type of jobs, are going to grow like crazy.
They'll come out with a skill from.
And it was already growing, actually. If you go back to bls.gov, the percentage is 15 to 20, or maybe a little lower, but it's already it was growing. There's a demand for it. There's a lot of big demand for it. So for a long, long time, you will see that the things that we're teaching right now is what people are going to be looking for.
I think
immediately.
60% of the people I know personally, and I have a very large friend group, 60% of them started at help desk and moved up from there. And of course, I mean, this is a long time ago in their career, but where they are now is impressive.
Yeah, that's why I say that when people start,
he started with help desk and went up to security.
And there you go. That's another example. And you'll be another. We were talking about you after a few years. Like, Haifa started then, and now she's here. This video is going to be the proof, inshallah. So, all right. So, thank you so much for this video, Haifa. Thank you for giving us the time and everything. This is valuable information for our platform, for you, for the new people, and everything. I just want to thank you. And if people have questions for Haifa, by the way, they can put a comment, and I can reach out to her, and she will come back, and maybe she'll join us next time, and she will definitely, I'm sure she's going to reply to us.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Haifa. And what I will do is I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. There you go.